Oh no. Oh no. Let it rain. Hey, back, what's up? Everybody else who is here, whether you're here now, here later, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I gotta fix my green screen. Look at this. You can see the shame. All right, that's better. Hey, everybody, what is going on? So, yes, we are here for part 2 of our D&D class picker. Hey, what's going on, Beck? 19 forking months, my guy. That is what I am talking about. This is excellent. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I just realized that I am just like in front of the what's it called? Watermark. So let's move myself up a little bit. There we go. We are here now. Hey, everybody. Yeah. So last week, 2 weeks ago, I think it was last Thursday, right? 2 Thursdays ago? Doesn't matter. At some point ago, we did this. We went through every class, every type, and we chose one Pokemon to assign to it. Some of them are excellent choices, like our Muscle Wizard. Some of them are less excellent choices, like Oricorio. I'm just kidding. But yeah, we went through and did this, so I thought it would be fun to go ahead and go through what I think, or what we think, each type, primary type, secondary type, and like just extra vibes type, for each Pokemon, and independent, but also which subclass do we think is the definitive subclass for that class, which I think can help us come up with a fun regional. I put signature Pokemon here as just like a it's independent of the typing, obviously. So yeah, I mean, vibes is the most important thing. So like, for example, I mean, it's I don't want to reuse the same primary typing on anybody. No, I wanted to do just classes before we dove into subclasses. Subclasses is like even deeper down the rabbit hole. So I just want to go for, I mean, we're going to choose what we think like the definitive subclass for like a regional Pokemon. There's going to be overlap in the typings, obviously. But for primary typings, I'd like to avoid overlap. So like, for example, I think pretty definitively we can say that for Wizard, the primary typing would be Fire. You know, granted, I know Wizards have access to every, just about every spell in D&D, but, you know, Wizard gets to level 5, Wizard casts Fireball. Evocation Wizard is incredibly, you know, central to the Wizard, no matter what subclass that they have. Fire has the most damaging spells in the game. You know what I mean? So, and that's when we're going to get into it. So, Sorcerer, you have to think, are we looking at like wild magic? And I think maybe thinking of what the definitive subclass is for the class might help us out. Because if you think of Sorcerer, the things that come to mind for me are Draconic Bloodline and, you know, additional damage. So then at that point, we'd be looking at probably Ice. Because cold damage is the second, you know, the second most used one. So if we're just, like I said, if we're just looking at more damaging spells, maybe we're looking at Ice. If we're looking at something like Draconic, you know, the overall raw power that a Sorcerer has, then maybe we're looking at Dragon. You know, maybe it's wild magic and we pick normal because it can do kind of whatever. So, you know what I mean? So like that's where we're going to need to come together and make some decisions about what we think each of these classes truly represents. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? There are some of these things which, like, in my head, I have pretty, like, you know. So, see, you think that. So, let's actually go through some of the martial classes first. Barbarians are all about doing big damage move. You know, you're swinging your... Well, first of all, Artificer is obviously electric. Like, that's not even, like, a... That's not even a discussion. They make gadgets. Electricity is gadgets. You know what I mean? So that's electric. That's just what it is. But when you look at Barbarians are physically tough. So think about what Rage does. Rage gives you resistance to piercing, slashing, and bludgeoning damage. You do extra damage as well. Barbarians are very physically tough, but mentally very frail. And to me, in Pokemon terms, what that means is high attack, high defense, low special attack, low special defense. So to me, Barbarian is Rock. Rock hit hard. Rock get hit hard. Well, yeah. So not every Pokemon is going to be... Not every Pokemon is going to be of that type from this list. It's just what two types do we... Like, what type combination do we think is the most Artificer, the most Barbarian, the most Wizard? So yeah, Golurk's not electric. Mechagearna's not electric. So I mean, you could have the argument that I guess that Steel could also be there instead of electric, but electric or Steel, because Artificer is all about creating and building and you know, magical items and gadgets and artifacts and stuff. Was more Barbarian than Play Rough? Hero, my guy. That's a good one. I mean, you're not wrong. But yeah, so like Barbarian, I think would be either Rock or it'd be Ground, because it is physically tough, but specially frail. So it's just, you know, the reason why my gut instinct is Rock is because of the damage reduction and things like, you know, fighting, flying. If we're going to have like piercing damage is, you know, flying, or bludgeoning damage is normal. Well, but grass has good... You want something that is... I think with Barbarian, because you basically have to dump your soft stats to make a good Barbarian. You have to dump your soft stats. TJ, fighting is also a decent one, but then what is Monk if not fighting? You know what I mean? Because obviously secondary typing, it could be... Secondary typing we can repeat. Secondary typing doesn't matter. We can repeat all we want. For primary typings, we don't want to repeat at all. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, Druid's grass. Druid is grass. Druid is nature. Druid can be offensive. Druid can be defensive. Druid can be, you know, support. Grass can do all those things. Grass is tanky. Grass is, you know, supporty. Grass is all of the things. You know, Druid's grass. If Druid's not grassed, then like, what the hell are we thinking here? I would be more inclined personally for Warlock between those two to be Ghost, because I still believe in my heart of hearts that Ditto is Druid, but Druid's not just about wild shape though. I mean, I think Bard is psychic. Most of what bards are about manipulation. So, I mean, I've always felt that Bard is psychic. Bard RP is about manipulation, getting information that you want from somebody. You know, hypnotic pattern, illusory stuff. Even things like Swords Bard, you're still tricky. I've always firmly believed that Bard is psychic. You know what I mean? You could say Bard is fairy, but I don't think it is. Because you also have to think about when I'm thinking about this, it's what type of damage in D&D do they do, and what does the type do? So, fire blows things up, wizard blows things up. what is the type of damage that D&D class is most likely to do. You know, things like that kind of help out. And then also vibes. You know what I mean? So yeah, Wizard Fire is the most common D&D physically attacking spell. Like that's that. Sorcerer could be Fairy. But we also need to think about what would Radiant damage be? Because Cleric is Radiant. So is Cleric Fairy for that? Or is there something else that you think could be Radiant damage? It's not Fire. Because obviously Fire's down here at Wizard. So this is when like you're running through things. I think that getting rid of some of the easy ones will help steer the conversation for the rest of them. Secondary typings, everything is open. Everything is open. Dark types do necrotic. Is that poison? I would think that. See, that's really when you're getting into Warlock. It's which thing are you giving Rogue and which one are you giving Warlock? Because oh, that's too funny. Welcome, Tim. Thanks for popping in, my guy. That's wicked funny. But it's like, so Rogue could be dark. Rogue could be ghost. Rogue could be poison. You know, if you're thinking about cunning action, if you're thinking about sneak attack, you know, that seems dark. You know what I mean? Because if, you know, stuff like parting shot, feint attack, night slash, all of those things could be like interpreted as some form of sneak attack. So it could be that. But also, rogues are tough to hit with things like evasion. So also could be ghost for that. Also, obviously, poison, assassin, and a lot of other rogue archetypes, subtypes are tricky, and tricky stuff is also poison. So, you know, dark and poison are probably the most. I mean, it could be a dark poison Pokemon, but like, don't forget Shadow Sneak. That's also true, Tim. So it's like, of those three, which one is the most rogue? And I think that's where you have to think about it. Which one is the most rogue? Is it dark? Is it poison, or is it ghost? Because then dark, poison, and ghost, technically you could be a patron of anything for a warlock, you know. But if we're thinking like stereotype, is usually a not necessarily nice. Hey, what's going on, Dash? No worries, man. We literally just started like 10 minutes ago. Ooh, I gotta turn the heat down here. There we go. Spiritomb with it being ghost and dark, absolutely. And you know, it's only weak to fairies. Oh, dude. Last time was a heated discussion. This is incredibly tame. We'll see how it goes on as we get through things. But we don't have to. There's 13 classes and 18 types. Not every single. I mean, you could also do bug. I think that would definitely be more of a secondary typing for rogue, because you're, you know, being sneaky. I mean, you can also, you know, with things like sticky web, toxic thread. You know, my daughter's doing her nightly. Almost 9 o'clock. Need something. Hold on. Baby girl, I'll be there in a minute, okay? True, but this isn't saying that these types don't exist. It's just if we're not going to use all 18 types. We might, as secondary or like a extra typing for vibes or argument, we can stick in this tertiary category. But primary and secondary are you know, we might not see everything. It'd be cool if we did, though. I'm going to go assist my child. Buddy! Boom. Here we are now. Fighter could be normal type, Spiritomb. All right, hold on here. I am going to tentatively put Dark here. We can change it later on, but I think that Dark is, with the type of moves and actions that a rogue is most likely to do, just sneak attack and cunning action. Both of those things seem more dark to me than anything else. So I want to start with that. We can always change it. And funny you say normal for fighting. This is my opinion, and you guys can get mad at me, and we can yell about it for a minute. I think fighting is water. Fighter is very versatile. Fighter can do literally anything, besides magic, of course. Actually, that's not even true. It can be an Eldritch Knight. Fighter can do anything. Water is the best type in the game. In my opinion. It's super versatile. It's got good resistances. It can do literally anything. It is very flexible. So I personally think that Fighter is water. I mean, Monk is fighting. They fight. They punch. Even the ones that shoot lasers also punch. And we're only dealing with primary, what's it called? Primary typing. Secondary typing, we can repeat whatever we want. And then vibes, because everybody's mad about something typing. I put a spot for that there. I personally think that Fighter is water. You think that water should be healing cleric support. But what water... Yeah, fairy is... Cleric is fairy. You have to think about what radiant damage is. Radiant damage is either fire or it's fairy. So yeah, radiant is fire. I mean, and hell, I mean, just like, gonna throw it out there right now. Oh no, sorry, that's Bard. Like, that's probably cleric. I'm gonna delete the fire right now, but this is probably cleric. Think about how many, clerics get a lot of fire spells or things that do radiant and fire. Whether it's forge cleric, whether it's light cleric, whether it's life cleric, like, you get a lot of access to fire stuff or fire adjacent stuff, and then radiant is that. Like, I am almost confident that this is cleric. I'll delete this for now, but I'm pretty sure that's cleric. Personally. I thought about this for months. So dragon, we have to figure out, is dragon sorcerer or is dragon paladin? Because you're taking your oath and you're this paragon of virtue. Now she says she needs something else, which is a lie. Sweetie, honey, no, it's... Dragon's not too OP. These also don't need to be balanced. Paladin could be steel. Paladin is a rock hard boy. But, like, Dragon's the default secondary class for anything. Like, Tim gets what I mean. Like, because, dragons have presence. Paladins have presence. Paladins are all about presence. They are, the holy smiting warrior. They are they're the inspirational leaders. They are the paragons of whatever the hell they're trying to do. If that doesn't scream dragon, I don't know what doesn't. I don't know what screams dragon if not that. Sorcerer has draconic sorcerer. It's also very versatile because it's a very focused situation. Dragons can also be that. So, I mean, they could both be part dragon. Never seen a dragon as a paragon of good. Well, then you have not played enough Dungeons and Dragons. There are 3 different types. Well, metallic dragons are inherently good. The other chromatic dragons, the regular color ones, are evil. Chromatic dragons, which are metal ones, are good. They're, all about justice and stuff. Which, look, who's about justice? And then, you know, there are gem dragons, which are like psychic rocks. Grandpa technically represents the combo. Oh, come on, man. Skyrim? Well, the dragons are the best. Frodo, you're a dragon, and you're a good guy. And what is the dragon board not a paladin? Is the dragon board not a paladin? But yeah, dragons, you know, like, you guys are going to kill me when I don't even want to put steel on paladin at all. I want paladin to be dragon fairy, personally, because they do radiant damage and they have a commanding presence. So to me, paladin is dragon fairy. Dragonborn's a sorcerer with a dragon bloodline. That's fair. That's fair. Oh, ranger. Ranger's flying. Ranger's flying. We know that definitively no matter what. Ranger's flying, and we're sticking ghost here because it's otherworldly. Warlock is ghost because it's otherworldly. You know, we don't need to debate that too much. No matter what patron it is not natural. Therefore, it is a ghost. Ranger is flying. You can scout. Honestly, ranger is probably this. I thought a lot about this. I was like, oh, of course it's grass because it's a part druid, but it's not. I think it's ground flying. The only place where it does not command is the sea. This is weak to water. So berserkers are barbarians in D&D, Tim. So like a barbarian would be a berserker, which I still think that barbarian is rock, but it could be ground. It's either ground or rock. Hell, it's probably ground rock. You know what? Let's just do that. Let's make it rock and ground. Does anybody not think that paladin, or that barbarian is rock and ground? Do you think it's something else? The Asian combo scream more paladin. Do you think steel instead of dragon then? It's either steel or dragon. I think fairy is its secondary typing because it does radiant damage. It's radiant, so this is here. So steel sounds more pally. All right. That's fine. Let's do it. I mean, while we're doing steel, secondary here has to be steel as well. You wear armor. You're one of the two classes that wears heavy armor inherently. Yeah, so like vibes or we don't agree on something. We have this little third row for like honorable mention. You have not been bonked by enough paladins. Paladins bonk things for an insane amount of damage. But yeah, they are inherently quite tanky. Not the most tanky. Fighters are tankier. That's why I think this is a great defensive and offensive combo. I think that this is fighter. I will fight you all on that. Literally. Yeah, that's that. We still need sword. So that means sorcerer can be dragon. Because that was something I was thinking about. So sorcerer can be dragon. Sorcerers also have a commanding presence. They have innate power. Dragons have innate power. Dragons are very flexible. Sorcerers are very focused on whatever their subclass is, but they do pack a lot of power. Dragon packs a lot of power. So yeah, the primary typings, I think these primary typings are solid. This is basically this is more or less what I was thinking in my brain hole. I know that I think that because ground has more utility than rock, I feel like just all bash. The resistance to normal and flying, I think, is what makes barbarian rock instead. Dragons are very charismatic. Yeah, sorcerers charisma is their main thing. That's a good point, Dash. I think you're probably right. Yeah, all the sound-based moves are normal. I think that is a perfectly acceptable secondary typing for Bard. I think that's a great idea. I like that a lot. Poison is a necessary. Monk or rogue might be on theme. Yeah. I think poison for rogue, definitely. I think that pretty much like nails it. I mean, I already made a Pokemon that was literally this. So, I mean, Wizard, I'm, you know, we already have the cat. I think this is pretty good. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong. I also do, yeah. So, Druid would either be grass ground or grass poison. And then the other one would go in our tertiary combination. Would bug enter the chart? I don't know. I guess we could do grass bug is such a bad combination now. But yeah, where would bug go? I mean, you have a Swarm Keeper Druid. Wildfire Druids can use bugs as their little fire spirits. Well, hold on. I think fire goes with cleric because, like I said before, a lot of fire stuff, and by fire be purged and all that nonsense. Is there anywhere that bug can fit in? Is there a phase subclass for bard? I mean, sort of. So it's just Vikavolt. It's just revenge for Vikavolt having to go under Sorcerer. Is that all it is? Or Warlock, rather. Because it's the epitome of Eldritch Blast, apparently. Bug would be interesting. Because my first instinct would either be Steel or Poison. For Alchemist or for Armorer. But Bug could be fun. For like... for some flavor. You could also do Bug for Warlock, because the things that are lending you their power are significantly bigger than you. You are insignificant to them. So I think Ghost Bug could actually be a fun thing for a Warlock. You know, you're getting your powers from Cthulhu. Cthulhu don't even know that you're there. That's like a fun thing about like a Great Old One Warlock is like, it might not even know that it's giving you power. It might not know that it's your patron. Or like a devil or a fae gives you power. They don't think anything of you. You're a tool. You're just a little fella. You know what I mean? You know, the bug could go, it could go Artificer, it could go Warlock. It could go Monk. Like Flurry of Blows and stuff. I was originally thinking maybe Electric or Water as a secondary typing for Monk, but Bug could also work there. It could work. I don't know. Well, but our artificers are also about intelligence, and bugs are not particularly intelligent. There are intelligent. Well, I guess they kind of are. Bug Bard because of The Witcher. I mean, you could literally, instead of normal, you could literally be an earworm. You know, if we do Bug Psychic instead of Bug Normal. So yeah, we do Bug Buzz and stuff, and make normal the backup. Um, you know, being a fly on the wall, gathering knowledge, that could be very bardy. You're literally a fly on the wall, and you're manipulating people. You know, I talked myself into it. Hero, good job bringing it up. It's a very good discussion. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, we do have U-turn. I mean, bugs are weirdly versatile. You know, you have early powerhouse stuff. You know, obviously you get the early evolution. Something like Butterfree, Dustox have a lot of use really early on in the game, but then you also have like surprises like Volcarona. I think literally being a fly, you know, literally being a fly on the wall, makes it more barred than anything else. Because, you know, you're gathering information and manipulating people without them noticing. I think that actually fits bug very well. And that's not something I even thought of before we all started talking. So that's awesome. That's really great. I like that a lot. For Druid, is it ground or is it poison? Being one with the earth and stuff, I'm inclined to say ground as the secondary typing. Like, spore druids exist, but like, is not a lot. I mean, poison spray. Yeah. I guess barbarian is just rock ground. It's just the normal burly boy set. True. All right, no, we can stick it there. I'm cool with that. Would poison fit anywhere else? Technically in Warlock, but I'd be more inclined to put Dark or Fire there. Probably Dark, so we don't repeat more than once. I don't think Poison would go with Monk. Monks are all just about attacking fast. Yeah. Alchemist. Could be for Alchemist. No, I was logging down, but like, monks aren't poison. Monks are fast and agile. So we want a fast type. Like Bug. No, I'm kidding. I mean, electric might make sense for a monk. Okay. Well, let's do this quick. The Sawsbuck. Give it the Sawsbuck. And that also goes into the Ditto thing that was being argued earlier. With wild shape and stuff. Yeah. Poison Ghost, I think, is good for Warlock. Or Poison Dark. But Poison Ghost, I think, is fine. I mean, we could give this... Almost all Construct Mons are part Ghost. I mean, Rotom is the ultimate Artificer. Ghosts are clever. No, I know. All right, you know what? We can put that there for now, Dash. I'm with you. Okay. Is Monk secondary typing? I mean, the acrobatics and stuff, flying definitely works. I was originally thinking electric, but flying definitely works. Water also works for like the oneness and stuff. For the Okay. I like these a lot. Let's put flying there for now. See if anybody argues with us. Yeah, I agree with that. Fighting in or maybe just do this the other way around, because it is oneness of body, oneness of mind. What if these were settled with nature? Like Pokemon natures? Like adamant and stuff? Put normal here as a tertiary guy. Electric here. We can look at that later, I guess. Why not? Hey man, I got time. I got lots of time. I think tertiary's got to be steel for the gadgets. Ooh, shucks. I think fire for barbarian rage. I'm just filling these in for what I think. If anybody disagrees with me, please tell me. Please tell me. We need one more for sorcerer. I mean, is it electric? Dragon for barb. I was thinking of rage, like the explosion of rage being fire, but dragon could definitely work too. Okay, we can do that. Sorcerer. Sorcerers aren't really about battlefield control, though. They just blow things up. That's all sorcerers do. So is it fire? Sorcerers are highly specialized in how they like to destroy things. I know they're also very charismatic, but I feel like the dragon takes care of the charisma. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's fire, electric, or ice. They blow stuff up. Those types blow things up. Normal because of explosion. I mean... You know what? I guess Drampa is like a sword. I mean, I think we put him as a wizard because he's old. Drampa is wizard because old. Where is he? Yeah, Drampa wizard because old. But it is, you know, does just make things explode. Tri attack. Yeah, you know what? No, that's a good point, because Tri attack can be like a yeah, because it could be like our wild magic. And Metronome's wild magic. Normal's perfect. Dark only has one spot on the whole list. I mean, it doesn't have to. We can get rid of poison for Warlock and put Dark there. Because Dark is, you know, just, you know, Dark, that's also very otherworldly. I like normal. Metronome. Metronome is normal. Metronome is a Fiend Warlock would be fire. I mean, I have no problem doing this. I mean, to be fair, Eldritch Blast is normal. Eldritch Blast is force damage. Eldritch Blast would just be try attack. Not try attack. Eldritch Blast is just Hyper Beam with no cooldown. Tertiary Cleric. Then we can put water for the whole kind of like tankiness. Grass. Okay, we can put grass. Best friend Malamar. We can put grass. Yeah, because grass is more of a support situation, I guess. That's true. I mean, and then I think fairy, tertiary for druid. For the same reason why it's cleric, support spells, support things. For fighter, is it fighting? Is fighting the tertiary thing? Does it fight good? Probably. Fighter fights. Fighter fights third best. And then I'm putting dragon here for paladin. Because once again, the presence. I want to go with the presence of the dragon. Ranger, grass. Is this ghost for rogue then? See if my daughter's asleep. She is. Nice. Only took an hour tonight. That's not bad. Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely, Tim. I'm with you guys on that. Oh, I like bug. Yeah, I like bug. For the same reason why bug bard. Well, for sorcerer, I mean, is it fire or ice? Nice to meet you. Oh yeah, it's me. Rock for rogue. There's nothing subtle about a rock. Bonking you on the head. Ground because dig. I'm gonna stick with bug. I like bug. But for sorcerer, is it fire? Is it electric? It's probably fire. Everybody fireballs. Everybody wants to fireball in this game. Fireball is the only move anybody cares about. Everybody wants to shoot fireballs. The answer's fireball. Like, why am I debating this with myself? Psychic for charisma? It could be psychic for charisma. They don't get any. We have only two psychics. 1, 3 fire. Well, I mean, ice would have gone to sorcerer if not dragon. You know what I mean? Like, where else would ice go? I mean, ice could go warlock. I mean, Diglett. If there was a regional Diglett that was dark poison. Regional Diglett. Oh. Thunk. Just goes for it, man. I mean, could you make Doug Trio? Could you make Doug Trio? Oh, that'd be such a weird Pokemon. Such a weird Dunk Trio. Ugh. Oh my gosh. I do like Psychic. It's like obviously, you know, something like Sneasel is like a little assassin, but instead we just got Diglett, Trio, and just Rock, Ice, and Water only have one entry. I mean, hey. I mean, where else would Rock go, though? I mean, Water, you could argue... I mean, Water is very versatile. Ice and Rock aren't. Ice do damage. Rock block damage. I do like Electric for Monk, but with the acrobatics of flying was what obviously the centeredness for Psychic, and then the Ice for Ranger. Am I crazy? So I like Ice for Ranger, but the reason why I thought Ground, well, Druid, I mean, sorry, Grass because Ranger Druid that bonk things. I thought Ground because it's about tracking. And the combination of flying and ground can basically go anywhere except water, which Ranger don't do water. Ranger don't do water. Ranger do land. So Ranger land. I mean, one of the Fakemon that Hero drew for us, for me, and I'm hoping that I can figure out how to make the game. That's gonna be my project for next year. I mean, we have Druid. I mean, not Druid. We have Ice Ranger. You know, we have Frostlet. We have Arctoshot. We got our homies. These are like some of my favorite Pokemon. Period. That Hero made for me. These are the homies right here. I love these guys so freaking much. So, like, yeah. Ice Ranger, rather. Makes sense. I like Ice Ranger. But I thought that, you know, being able to go across any type of landscape except water, because, like I said, Ranger don't do water. I thought the ground made more sense, personally. I mean, you also have to think about what ice is in D&D. In D&D, ice just does damage, and it messes with terrain. So, I mean, ice for Rogue, if ice is messing with your terrain and or doing a bunch of damage, if it's about... Ice in D&D is, or at least in Baldur's Gate, maybe not so much in regular D&D. In regular D&D, ice is mostly just about blowing things up, but with ice instead. But like, if you're thinking about in something like Baldur's Gate, it's also about environmental control. So that's something that maybe like a rogue like Pokemon would do. Yeah, so it's for CC, so it's locking people down. So I mean, it makes sense for Wizard, obviously, because it is the second most common damaging element in D&D. So, you know, obviously it's a slam dunk for a Wizard. I mean, if you want to control the flow of battle, that's something that, you know, a Rogue can do. Also, that's also a really good point, Hero. Yeah. If we're thinking about this in D, if I'm gonna be honest, I'm surprised there's not more fire dragon. I mean, I know there's up to 3 dragons. I'm surprised there's only 3 fire. If I'm being completely honest, I'm gonna throw it out there. Every single one of these could be fire because everything is fire in D&D. Everything is fire. Everything. You know? Steel trumps rock. Yeah. And the things that could be rock are wearing, you know, we have Paladin and Fighter. They're the ones wearing the heavy armor, so we go Steel. You have Armor, Artificer, then you also have Battlesmiths, both of which would be Steel related. The only reason why Steel we went Tertiary is because, very good point made, that a lot of Construct Pokemon end up being Ghost. So these two, I think, would be interchangeable. Yeah, no. Well, I see, and this was part of the problem that I had. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly, Tim. But so this was a big problem that I had. So when Hero is helping me make all the Pokemon for Etheria, I was trying to design them in a way that they could be used for a D&D game. So, like, some of their typings are not perfect for Pokemon, but they're good for what I was trying to do in D&D. So that's why I wanted to do these exercises, because now, if I'm going to try to make a fan game or a ROM hack or something, and share more of this stuff, I wanted to do some of these exercises to see, like, how you fit D&D into Pokemon as opposed to fitting Pokemon into D&D. Because taking, 18 classes and everything that Pokemon is and stuffing into D&D made me drove me crazy and made me depressed about the whole thing. Oh, but the other way around, much easier, because there's only 8 types of damage, and you can figure that out with all these types. Or 12 types of damage if you include the whatever. There's fewer. Well, and that's what D&D does. D&D fuses, it's just cold damage. There is no water damage. Water either does bludgeoning or it does cold in D&D. Like if you're using like Water Whip, not Water Whip, whatever the monk 4 elements monk thing is, it's basically Water Whip. It's the same thing as Thorn Whip, but it's with water. It does bludgeoning damage. If you throw I don't know, you make a cube of water and drop it on somebody's head, that's bludgeoning damage. If you hit them with sphere of water, that's bludgeoning damage. But it's just, sometimes it's cold. Sometimes it's cold damage, but usually it's bludgeoning damage. And that's when stuff gets weird. So, like, for example, Barbarian Rock should be weak to water, but resist bludgeoning. So what you do with water, these things drove me crazy. I couldn't figure it out. It was a giant pain in the ass, and it made me literally, like, want to cry. So, yeah. Enough ranting about that. But, yeah, the typings, they're not perfect. They're not going to be perfect. But I think we got a pretty okay setup here, I think we're doing pretty good. But what do you guys feel in your heart of hearts that you disagree with or agree with? Most of this would be fixed if each have had a 4th type on it. In D&D, yes, because it's typically bludgeoning, so that's the type of damage that, like, a mace would do. So Hero, that's the next game that I'm starting to play my games for like January and February. And I'm playing Lazarus hopefully later this week or next week. I'm really excited for it because I loved Sea Glass so much. I'm really excited. I have been avoiding any spoiler I can because I loved Sea Glass so much, and I've been waiting for this game. So I'm very excited for it. But also, I just played Heart and Soul, which is a Johto game made in Emerald. And now, I played Sea Glass last year, and then I'm going to be playing Lazarus, and it's just like, oh, do I need to figure out how to I was already looking at tutorials on how to use RPG Maker, but now I'm playing all these really, really cool ROMs made with Emerald, and it's just like, do I learn how to do that instead? I don't know. That might be harder. I might still stick with RPG Maker, but I'm very excited for Lazarus. Oh God, no. But yeah, no, like I said, Tim, it was 2 years ago, I think, a year and a half ago, when Hero first started helping me design the Pokemon. It's been a while. I was trying to make homebrew rules for D&D to add Pokemon in there, and then this was going to be our Pokedex, and I was like so like psyched to do it. And like I spent months trying to get rules to work, and I was playtesting it, and I was streaming the playtest, and it wasn't fun. It was, the battles were taking too long, the stats were complicated, and I just like I got so in my head about it, and the whole thing fell apart. But I've been wanting to make a game for a long time, so now we can do that. You know, we can take some of these fellas, we can take some real fellas, we can take this information that we have here with these sheets, and we can do the damn thing. And I'm doing the damn thing. It's gonna be hopefully what I do most of next year. Obviously, I'll still do Nuzlocke and stream with you guys and stuff, but I'm hoping I can learn either ROM hacking or RPG Maker. Obviously, I'm not an artist. I'll have to figure that out. But I can. That's why I use a combination of official Pokemon too. But I know I can do something with this. I know I can make a neat story. Mostly because I already wrote like 3 neat stories when I was gonna play D&D. Rock on National Camouflage. That's why I find them breaking rocks in game. That is a really cool thing, Telex. Yeah, I mean, but like Dash, that's the problem, you know? I mean, I can add, I don't even know what you call a quadratiary type. Like, what is that? More? Question mark? We can add another one. I'll add as many as you want. Now we got poison here. I'm adding fire here. Does it explode? Rage explode. Just like everything else in Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, Bard support, sort of. They don't sort of support. They do support. They get a lot of the same utility that the other folks do. You want more? I'll give you freaking more. I mean, clerics reach out to their gods. That's already radiant. Does dragon go here? You know, I think honestly, everybody, I think that every single type has a place. You know what I'm saying? I think every type has a place, so I think everybody should just get all 18. I think that's what we should do. So, no, I'm kidding, of course. But I don't know. I know that water in the world of Pokemon, but water would be everywhere. 7.8 out of 10, too much water. But this is like, what this is doing, to be transparent with you guys, is any regionals that I try to make, like I want to have, ideally, 1 Fakemon and 1 regional per class that can be like the signature Pokemon of that class. All the bosses are going to be based off of the 13 types. So whether it's their ace or something that you see in game, I want either a cool regional or a cool Fakemon for each class. So, and then using probably these typings to do that. So like, that's kind of the idea for why I wanted to do this. And then that'll also help guide their teams a little bit, because like I'll use this for their teams to some extent, and also to create the Pokedex. But I wanted to have a special spot for Fakemon and a regional. That's absolutely correct, Ash. Yeah, man. Ugh. What do we think is the definitive, and if you're not a big D&D person, this part might not mean anything. So for the uninitiated, or people that just don't, this isn't your thing, and you just are hanging out here because you enjoy my company. Well, and that, once again, that's why I had to give up on the rule set, because it, like I said, it was making me depressed. That I was letting my friends down. I was letting you guys down. I'm talking too much about it. I was letting Hero down. He did all this work for me. I couldn't. It was too much. I couldn't handle it, and I should have thought more about it before I did it. But we're doing this now, and this I'm way more confident on. This I can learn how to do. These rules make sense to me. Pokemon makes sense to me. I can do Pokemon. But anyways, for anybody that doesn't know, every class in D&D does not just do one thing. There are subclasses. Well, I appreciate you hanging out with me, man. So just because you're a wizard doesn't mean that all wizards do the same thing. Wizards actually a really good example. Wizards have an insane number of subclasses. So what type of magic does that wizard specialize in? So you have evocation, which is blowing stuff up. You have transfiguration. I'm sorry, not transfigure. Oh, you don't transfer, whatever. You have divination. So, predicting the future. That's more utility based stuff. Divination, same type of thing. So illusion, making illusions, setting up traps, things like that. So what does your blank specialize in? Are you a druid that specializes in turning into animals, or are you a druid that specializes in healing? Are you a druid that specializes in being from space? Yeah, we don't need to talk about Oathbreaker stash. You want to know why? Because steel and I know they're not always radiant, but even when they're an Oathbreaker, guess what kind of damage Divine Smite does? It does radiant, no matter what. Smite does radiant no matter what, therefore it's fairy. Make it nice and straightforward. Druid is ditto. That's why Druid got normal. Tim. Fighters are, fighters are very straightforward. Fighters bonk things, but it's how do you bonk things? Are you battlefield controlling bonk things? Are you just bonking things to bonk things? Are you riding a horse when you bonk things? Are you sometimes casting spells, but not really, while you bonk things? So it's what subclass do we think makes the most sense? Ranger. Are you the ranger with the companion? Are you a ranger? Are you Batman, basically? This Gloomstalker's Batman. So, are you Rexar or are you Batman? There are more than that. Are you a teleporting, or are you, what's his face, from Shadow of Mordor? Are you Troy Baker from Shadow of Mordor? I can't remember the character's name. Talion? Is it Talion? Talion! I think it's Talion. Are you Talion? Are you Batman? Or are you Rexar? Which one are you? Well, yeah, and Dash. So here's the thing. Let's say I'm just gonna do this because for the Fakemon. Let's say it's a Griffin, because I think the Griffin is a neat ground flying thing. It doesn't mean anything. Let's just say that. Let's just pretend this. Oh god. Let's just pretend this for a minute. That's not how you spell Griffin. An I. Let's pretend it's that. Just because that exists, just because this exists, does not mean there can't be another ranger Pokemon. Like, yeah, this is probably easier. Let's say Dodrio. I make a regional Dodrio that's this grass and not grass, this ground and flying, and it looks more like an axe beak instead of an ostrich. So it's got its murder beak, and that's what it has. That's our regional. I could still make a grass bug, I don't know, praying mantis that's not Scyther, and that's still a ranger. Just because this is the answer to what is the signature doesn't mean it's the only thing. It's gonna be okay. You could do anything because it's all pretend. We can do whatever we want because it's not real. This is just what are we feeling in our hearts and our souls. That's all it is, man. That's all it is. Just a feeling. It's not more than a feeling. It's only a feeling. Exactly. It doesn't mean it. Like this, like we did this. And like I said, this is not perfect. This is not perfect. For example, Oricorios here. But like none of this is perfect. But you know, this was, and it took like like 7 hours for us to do. But like we have this, and it's something. You know, this proves that any Pokemon type can fit into any of these classes, including Muscle Wizard. If you can fit Muscle Wizard here, then you can do anything. Exactly. No, this is to help me maybe come up with regionals. Is really what it is. Like, it's a fun exercise to think about, and like I could make a cool short about it. But like, it's like, it can also help me figure out what like a cool regional would be. So like fighting psychic, I don't know, a regional. I mean, I know Lucario is already a fighting type, so maybe that's not the best idea. But like Lucario should be. I know why it's steel. You guys don't have to tell me. But I'm saying like, this could just be Lucario, you know, fighting. It could just be a regional Lucario, and we just slap that boy in there, and then that's it. You know. Although, see, I'm already breaking my own thing because in my brain, I really want a Fire Fairy Charmander that's a divination wizard. I want the flame on its tail to be a crystal ball, and I want it to be like more like big and hulking and like kind of like trying to hide it. You know, I think that'd be a really cool thing to do, despite the fact that I picked. See, this makes the most sense. That doesn't mean anything if I decide to make something else. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Water's everywhere. Water could go anywhere. Water can do anything. Water break rock. Water mightier than rock. Water barbarian. So yeah, it can go anywhere. Barbarian, monk, and bard. I mean, those are all good. They're all very good. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the starters, because of the way I want to do the game. It doesn't necessarily make sense to have traditional starters. It would make more sense to have. My initial idea, I'll tell all you guys this. I was talking about it in Discord, and I've talked to Hero about it a little bit, and I've talked to Maeve about it, who's not here, by the way. I know that, you know, it's, 3 o'clock in the morning for him? I'm just teasing, Maeve. I'm sorry, buddy. The bad guys want to get the 5 chromatic dragons together to make Tiamat. So my thought process was make one of your starters one of the chromatic dragons, and then like you're accidentally helping the bad guys by making this thing more powerful, and like you show up to face off against the bad guys, they're like, you fell into my trap, and then they summon Tiamat because you brought your starter there. And I was like, well, what if somebody does a Nuzlocke and their starter's dead? They can't play the game, and if it just shows up, they're gonna be like, what's that gonna do? Like, you know, and it was like, okay, so maybe, well, what if somebody doesn't like it? Somebody swaps it out because they don't, you know, they picked whatever typing it is doesn't work with them, so it's not in their party. It's like you get to the climax of the game, and then it's just like, sorry, you can't go here unless you blank. So it's like, all right, well, maybe, you know, I guess the chromatic dragons are still at the center of the game. They still are going to help summon Tiamat, but what do they do if they're not the starter? Like, do the bad guys have them? You know, and then they're trying to cultivate power or whatever. So I got to figure that out. But it's still like a normal starter situation doesn't make sense. You're not a research assistant, so a professor's not giving you a Pokemon. you're 3 to 5 dinguses starting off an adventure trying to make a name for yourself, and you accidentally fall into the evil plot, because that's what happens in every D&D game. You're not doing it on purpose, it just kind of happens. So how do starters work? Do I just assign you like an EV or something? Like, this is your starter, or do I do something else related to maybe the good aligned dragons, or a group of gods that want to stop the cult or evil team, whatever, from doing the thing? So I got to figure that out. I don't think it should be class based, because all the bosses you fight are going to be all the classes. So I don't think that it should explicitly be, like, if you're fighting all the classes, why are you getting the signature Pokemon for that class as your starter? And then also, like, you pick one of them and then you don't get the other ones. I don't know. So I gotta think about it. I did not know that about Genshin Hero. I did not know that. That's really cool. The other thing I want to do is, instead of, whatever, we're going to talk about this now. What I want to do is, instead of the traditional gym challenge, after the prologue or whatever, you go on your first initial adventure, you start to uncover the thingamadoo. There's a crest or emblem, a gauntlet, some kind of artifact that you find that the evil team is looking for, and that's why and they need to get power by going to all these different tombs or ancient sites or whatever, and battling these spirits, guardians, whatever, and those are going to be representative of all the classes. And when you defeat one of those things, you get the emblem that's going to go into the Infinity Gauntlet of saving the world. So you're trying to collect these things before the bad guys do, or at least that's very, very, very broad strokes of what it is. Collect the things to stop the thing. So there'll be the 8 bad guys. There'll be the 8 leaders, whatever that means. And then, you'll fight 5 other things. So that way you get all 13 of the classes, all with their own teams, and you battle them all, and then that's how you get to the thing. So let me pull it up. So, like, what Hero had made was, so we have a Bahamut legendary Pokemon. Kind of like duck, like I can do something about that. So we have Bahamut. And then we also have Tiamat. Where are we? This is in alphabetical order, right? So my initial idea was, and it's similar to what Hero just said with Genshin and Monster Hunter, is, so let's say you choose the Red Dragon as your starter Pokemon. You show up to face the bad guys, but guess what? They wanted you to be there. They steal your starter, and then they summon Tiamat, and you have to fight Tiamat. And then, whatever, they split apart or whatever. They zap Mokuno away and they go back home, except for Emberhorde, because he was already here. So you have that. So but once again, if you don't show up with your starter for one reason or another, how does the game progress? That doesn't make any sense. I guess I could make it like Xenoverse. Like in Xenoverse, you had to have your starter with you for story moments. Like, the game wouldn't allow you to not have them. Be like, come back when you got Sound Dragon, and you're like, all right, cool, I'll go get Sound Dragon, and then we'll come back. But I don't know if I want to do that to people. I think I want to give them the choice to play their game how they want to play it. So I think that more likely the dragons will still be something you have to deal with along the way, but it not necessarily being on your team. I think more likely Bahamut and or the other good aligned dragons. So you know you have our metallic dragon. Where's our gem dragon? Do 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 do. We have our gem dragon, and then we have our fairy dragon, who's just Figment. I think more likely these more good aligned dragons, because the way that the original Etheria story was supposed to work was that, you know, Bahamut was the god of magic in this world, not in real D&D. So, you know, he's Arceus in our world. But to kind of run the world in the way that Dialga, Palkia, and actually, I guess more like the lake spirits. So in the same way that the lake spirits kind of like middle managed down here, there was the fairy dragon, the metallic dragon, and the gem dragon. So I think more likely, if you get a traditional, you'll start with just a partner. You'll start with a Pokemon that I think is fun or cool or cute to have. And then I think that when you get the gauntlet thing that you need to save the world or keep away from the bad guys, or maybe you are still accidentally helping them, tee-hee-hee, I think that your starter will be given to you by, you know, it won't necessarily be a dragon. It might be. But like it'll be like, oh, cool, we're going to help you on your journey. You know, here is a representative of, you know, the Amethyst Dragons. Here's a representative of this. Here's a representative of that. Choose your starter. So that way it's not explicitly class-based, because the bosses are the classes. You are Joker. You are the Fool. You are the Jack of all trades. You are not a specific class. So, you know, I don't have to worry about the 3 existing starters we have now. They can just be Fakemon in the game, or they can be signature Pokemon for those bosses. But you get a starter that is not explicitly a class-related thing, because you're not a class. You are outside of that realm, because you are, you know, you are the Fool in Persona terms. And it's not one of the chromatic dragons explicitly, because if something happens to it, then the rest of the story can't happen. So we'll see. I have to think about this more, but that's what I've been thinking about. Because at first I was like, hell yeah, the dragons. But I think maybe more likely, I mean, I guess I can't have like 10 legendary Pokemon, but like, we'll see. Make all the official starters being regionals for each class. Do you want to draw all those? Do you want to make sprites for all those? Because I sure as shit can't. But I mean, we could. Oh man. But yeah, I don't know. That was also my thought. It's just, yeah, take 13 starters. We could do that. Because yeah, there are plenty of games where, like Lazarus, for example, you get 9 starters to choose from. You know, Vanguard has like 30 starters. You know, so yeah, we could just pick 13 starters and just give them these typings. You know what I mean? Or something similar to this. We could do that. I don't know. Lots of options. And we were also talking about it in the Discord like 2 hours ago. We could have like just a little dude, like a little like Marshadow or a Hoopa or something. And you just like, or like a little Rotom dude, just like or a Charcadet, like a little fella. And it just like bloops. It just evolves into whatever the hell you want. Yeah, exactly, Telix. The alternative is just giving an Eevee. I also thought about maybe starting with Cobling, starting with the Kobold. You are a level 1 adventurer. So if you started with a Kobold, that would just be funny. And then this little doofus. And then we add a Mega. This guy, we give this guy a Mega. And see what a Mega Kobold really can do. Yeah, so Dash, so instead of badges, the way that I was gonna do it was whenever you complete the main quest or whatever, you'll face off against some sort of representative entity of X class, and then that will charge up whatever this artifact that you're charging up to beat the bad guys. So then once you have the 8 that you think you need, you show up to try to save the day, and then because I always think it's weird that like it's like 7th badge, fight the bad guys, save the world. All right, cool. Now let's do the Pokemon League. That's weird. It's like, all right, cool. I'm glad that, I mean, at least you catch Ho-Oh or Lugia after you beat Claire. But like in Platinum, it's like, great, we saved the world. Guess I'll go fight Volkner now. Like that seems incredibly weird and bad. So I think we fight our 8 dudes. We show up to deal with the evil team. Things go sideways. And then that's what leads you into having to fight the final 5 things to actually win. So the final thing you do is like Zygarde shooting his big old gun at the Eiffel Tower. You know what I'm saying? No, I know. Well, you need to... Well, in Pokemon Z, they're the keys to turning on the weapon. They're the keys to turning on the Eternal Tree. But it's also, it's Pokemon, but it's also D&D. And in a D&D game, you don't care about, I mean, I guess you care about money, but like, it's framing Pokemon in a fantasy idea. In Silvery, yes. Bogey Hero, who's in here with us now, did almost all of these. He did almost all the art. Trainer Mats, who's on Instagram, did a handful of them as well. He did the starters. The starters aren't in this folder, but he did the starters as well as a handful of. He did this Kobold. He did Mind Flayer, the Displacer Beast, and then the Beholder, and then somebody else on Instagram who goes by Brazos Region. He did the this like volatile potion guy, who's based off of a gelatinous cube, and then also I wanted a crab based off of an abjuration wizard. So this little like kind of crustal fella he made as well. But all these other things, all hero. Pokemon regions are based off of real countries and regions. Basically, the first 4 are more or less different parts of Japan. And then then you have New York, France, Hawaii, jolly old England, and then Spain. They are all based off of places. But not all of the Pokemon are explicitly references to animals or ideas from those areas, but the regions themselves are based off of real places. It got a little bit more explicit in Gen 6 on, where the regional Pokemon were like really part of the region. But in like Gen 5, it was more like just like rehashing Gen 1 with some ideas. Money or honor would make a good substitute for badges, IMO. No, true, but I want the main plot to still be getting badges, but you're also saving the world because it's D&D. It doesn't really matter. We can always change it. But hold on, I'll be back in 2 seconds. My wife needs me for a minute. I'll shoot my glasses. All right. Sorry, guys. The I guess just peek behind the curtain. There's over the weekend there were some people scoping out cars in our neighborhood, which is weird because we live in a very, very quiet street. But anyways, my wife thought she saw something on the camera, but it was just a branch moving in a weird way across her car. Anywho, yeah, so Delphix, the whole 3,000 years ago thing doesn't make any sense in ZA. Yeah, exactly here. It doesn't make any sense. So I like that in Pokemon Z, the fan game, it's 300 years ago, and they just make it the French Revolution. I think that was a really good way to do it. 3,000 years does not make any sense. I understand, like, all right, you tell me something happened 10,000 years ago in Star Wars, fine. Star Wars it's in space, but it's fantasy. Star Wars is fantasy. Lord of the Rings, fantasy. You know, if Azeroth, like if it takes place in a fantasy world, like a truly fantasy world, you could tell me it happened 1 billion years ago and I'll believe you. But when Pokemon is contemporary as it's happening, and the technology continues to be contemporary as the games come out, you cannot tell me that the Eiffel Tower was built 2,000 years ago. You can't do that. It does not make any sense. You tell me that there was a war 3,000 years ago with Pokemon? I'm sure there probably was. But then you're also telling me that in Sinnoh, what, 200 years ago? It's weird that you had it's weird that you know how to throw a ball at a rat. But there was a Pokemon war? That don't make any sense. Don't you lie to me. You lie to me, Game Freak. Ridiculous. Yeah, it's silly. But they stuck to it. They could have fixed it. I will lose. Well, a Pokemon War, not the Pokemon War. So a very interesting thing. I'm gonna get back into it. Why don't we just? I'm gonna just talk about all the lore. All right. If you the somewhat regarded theory of Kanto is it is basically post World War II Japan. That's why there's no adult men. That's why there is an American military guy in the city with the seaport. And granted, I know that America still has military there, but it is like that is like it's post-war Japan. And that's why you got to go out and get a job, is because there's no people. It's just women and children. There's barely any adults. And if there are, they're old. So that's the kind of, theory with the Kanto games. So but it's also like, it is very clearly like, the 80s or 90s or whatever. Because of the way the technology works and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, Exactly, Delphix. Yeah. So the first 4 generations are all different parts of Japan, and they're all kind of happening around one another. So, they're all happening basically around the same time. So yeah, but I mean, it's also like once you get into Kanto and Johto were very, very similar, obviously. But once you're in Hoenn and in Sinnoh, you see people everywhere. The technology is already more like contemporary to when then happened. Is Godzilla the source of all Pokemon? I mean, most Japanese culture. Well, no, Pokemon exists because kids like to collect bugs and frogs and stuff. Like I talk about it a lot on stream. The last as we've been trying to world build more, especially like, Japanese kids used to get bugs and then basically try to make them fight each other. I used to collect, I don't know how old all you guys are, but like I would go into the woods and down to like ponds or whatever, and I would just grab frogs and caterpillars and what else and just bring them home and try to keep them going. Just try to keep them little fellas going. So yeah, true. Creature collecting, yeah, I mean, Dragon Warrior Monster, or whatever, Dragon Quest Monsters, I think is technically the first game where you are taming creatures. Pokemon is just the one that like really caught on. It had the show, it had the cards, it had the games, it had everything going all at the same time. Obviously, the games first in Japan were huge, but by the time it went international, you had toys, you had TV, you had video games, you had everything Pokemon. You made all the weirdest Christians really mad too. That helped out. So what category are we fitting in the cleric now? Yeah, and the Game Boy, huge install base. Game Boy, everybody had a Game Boy. I mean, I didn't have a Game Boy till I had Pokemon, but like even people that didn't play, like how people who don't play games on their phones. The Game Boy was like that. People just like played Tetris or whatever when they were on the subway. You know what I mean? Game Boy had a huge install base. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, I have many brothers, so I didn't have a Game Boy until I got Pokemon. It was a birthday gift, but yeah, no, it's just, anyways. What about subclasses? I mean, I don't even. Are we still doing this? Are we still doing this? I got a little while left before it's bedtime. Nice. I had a red Game Boy Pocket and Pokemon Red on my 12th birthday? 11th birthday? How old was I? When did Pokemon Red and Blue come out? Was it 96 or 99? Or 98? Pokemon Red and Blue US release date. North America, September 28th of 1998. So on my 11th birthday, so November of 98, I got a red Game Boy Color along with Pokemon Red. But like, I remember one of my friends had it before me, and going from the end of September to November 7th, it was like 5 weeks. It felt like an eternity. Man, time's weird when you're a kid. 5 weeks felt like frickin' forever. Why did Gemini turn itself on? I don't want this. Get out of here. 5 weeks felt like an eternity. Oh, yeah, dude. No, I would just overlevel Charmander. I mean, it's funny, like, I would use, not for Misty, obviously, but, like, I mean, maybe that's why Nidoking became one of my favorite Pokemon as a kid, and same thing with, like, Primeape. It's like, because I always picked Charmander, so I needed something to deal with Brock. And I know that in Red and Blue, you don't get an Nidoran before Brock. You would get it on Route 3. But going back and playing Yellow, because obviously I played a lot of Yellow too. But yeah, I think that maybe that's why Primeape and Nidoking / Queen became such huge and important Pokemon to me. Is because I always either had Charmander or Pikachu, so I couldn't do Jack Diddley against Brock. I needed somebody to pull it, somebody to do the work. Anyways, Cleric. I'm gonna say Steel because a lot of them wear heavy armor. Or no, you know what? Nothing says smite like lightning. Nothing says smite like Jesus. By the power of Zeus, I smite you. Oh yeah, putting everything to sleep, and then just confusion, 1000%. This is ground. I'm not gonna fill in the more. Let's look at some of these for a minute here. Let's figure it out. I got a couple more minutes. Hang out with everybody, doing a good time. I'm just having a good time talking and hanging out, you know. I don't know. Got to figure out Flakymon. Got to figure out regionals. What subclass makes the most sense? You know, all this kind of stuff. But I had so much fun doing this. I just wanted to do more, so I wanted to do this. Obviously, this is not nearly as involved, you know. Just coming up with some typings. Much more straightforward. Much more doable. Much more doable than this. This was like bonkers. Well, I appreciate that, Dash. Thanks for popping in, man. I don't know if I'll be on tomorrow, but I will be on definitely Thursday and Friday. I'll see about tomorrow or Wednesday. I've been trying to get my wife to watch Frankenstein, and she hasn't wanted to because she just hasn't wanted to. And I think she said she'll finally do it tomorrow. So if that's the case, I'm going to be doing that. And that's a long movie. But Michigan. Well, if I don't see you before then, Tim, good luck with that. Later, Dash. I'm not going nowhere. I'm here. Done with all our trips. We went to Salem, which is only an hour away from my house. But And it's also not Halloween anymore. But they still have stuff for little kids to do. And my daughter loves spooky stuff. It's funny because she's afraid of everything like I was, but she loves spooky things, which doesn't make any sense. So we did a bunch of spooky stuff. It was good. Cold though. It decided to become fall. Who would have thought? Who would have thought at the beginning of November fall would start? But here it is. Wow, okay. That's great. Good 2 for 1. Trying to think here. I mean, do we assign a starter? You know, maybe we do that. Starter. Let's see if we can run through that. Let's pull up all the starters. This could be fun. Starter Pokemon. Pull up all these little freaks. All these little fellas. Hold on here. Do. All Pokemon sprites. Ooh, that's not the ones I wanted. Not the ones I wanted, folks. Where are we? Where are they? All front sprites. There we go. Yeah, Bulbasaur. Charmander. Squirtle. I mean, I guess we don't need to do this. We don't need to look at them like that. We know what the starters are. We already know Skeledirge is Bard. I mean, I guess, yeah, it is a singer. Oh, no. Tillix, you're not wrong about that being... But we're going to look at starters. What starter Pokemon do we think is best representative of each class? Let's delete this for now. Delete column. Delete. What starter do we think is the best of each class here? So if we look at an Artificer... Is it Pikachu? It's not really a construct. It's not really a creation. Or... And obviously the typings don't matter here. These are vibes. These are vibes. I guess Pikachu probably. Right? It's the only electric starter. I know that we put Pikachu under Fighter. Because Pikachu is everything. Pikachu's got so many forms. And so many ways to Pikachu. But is Pikachu an Artificer? Because if not Pikachu, then what? Because I don't know. Yes, we are including Eevee and Pikachu because I believe that Eevee is the sorcerer starter. Well, hell yeah, Gorochu, obviously a hero. Obviously. I mean, I think that like a regional, like electric fire Pikachu would be Artificer to a T. Oh, we're going to go back to that, Delphix. I'm going to go back to that later. Don't worry about it. We're going to go to it. I want to do starters. I'm picking Pikachu. I mean, it would be, so it's like, if there was going to be a regional starter or regular starter, just who feels the most at home here? I'm putting Pikachu here. I'm calling that. Barbarian. Is it Emboar? Is Emboar? Do we put Emboar here? Where did I put Emboar? I'm gonna put Emboar under Fighter. Rillaboom. Okay, I like Rillaboom. I like Rillaboom. I like Rillaboom. You would say Squirtle just based off of an appearance for an Artificer. That's a good point. That's an excellent point. You know what? I'll put Squirtle in there too. Surfing in Balloons Pikachu. That's also a good point, Tillix. Yeah, but the cannons are obviously, you know, the arcane cannon thing does make sense for Blastoise. Hey, what's up, Phil? No worries, man. Keep on lurking. Get what you need. All right, hold on here. Hold on. I'm also going to put Squirtle there. Throw one column to the right. We're also going to put Squirtle there because that's an excellent point. Because I like the volatility of Pikachu with the electricity, but also, yeah, Squirtle with the cannons, literally with the cannons. I like Rillaboom. Let's put Grookey in there. Grookey gang. Baralligator. Oh, dog, that's better. That's much better. Okay, hold on. Duh. I mean, Totodile bite. He bite. All right, all right, all right. All right. For Bard, the Skeledirge, for sure. And Poplio. Do we have Poplio? And we have Toy Coco. Ooh, Meowscarada. Oh. Well, for that same reason that Meowscarada would be more of a rogue, I think. With the sleight of hand is more directly rogue, I think. Because then you could also put Quavel in there for the dance fighting. The Through Paldean, they are all performers. Yeah, no, you're right. Sorry, Poplio. Sorry, Poplio. Ah. All right. Weed Cat it is. Because I want to narrow it down to 2. Cleric. I guess Meganium. Chikorita. Emvor for Forge Domain. Yeah, but there's nothing. But that would be like. A Changeling Druid. That's like doubling down on it. That's awesome, Tillix. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of performers, huh? Incineroar. Also a performer. But I think you could also get Incineroar. Dude, you can get Incineroar as a barbarian. Is Incineroar a better barbarian than Grookey? I mean, because Feraligatr is there. Feraligator's there. But is Incineroar... Is Litten better than Grookey? Although I guess... Incineroar has charisma. And Grookey does not... Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Rillaboom. I love Rillaboom. But yeah, you are more... charismatic than Smacky. Druid. Not Druid. Cleric. Well, Druid, I can put Turtwig here. Like that we know. Is it Turtwig and Bulbasaur? Like, do we stray very far with this? True, you can change their type, their archetypes. That is a good point. But it's still vibes. Hold on, let's knock one or two of these guys out really quick. So hold on. Fighter is Oshawott. I know that I'm not going explicitly off regionals right now. That's a very good point, Hero. You can always change these things. And then Monk is Chimchar. I mean, Monkey. He's literally Wukong. He's literally Son Goku. He is there. And then Piplup. There's nothing more regal than a king. True. No, that's a really good point. You like to petition Cinderace for an Oath of Glory. That sound that's a good. Imagine. I mean, I guess that that would be like a jousting night or whatever. That'd be wicked. That'd be so cool. Oh yeah, Rowlet's Ranger. This is Rowlet's time to shine. No, that's a really good point, Hero. I think that maybe I do that. Maybe I do. True, that is a Chevalier. I have so much thinking to do on all these things. It's gonna be fun. I'm very excited. So much thinking. I mean, Eevee is. Why did it give me Gigantamax Eevee? Eevee. And then, obviously, what's their face? Again. Yes, definitely Trico for Rogue. I was thinking of this. So if there was going to be a regional Trico that is a rogue, you can keep the grass because the grass has camouflage. Is it grass poison? Is it grass dark? Because like it has little hooks on its hands and feet to climb. So you could give it little like Assassin's Creed blades or whatever, or make its tail like a sickle or more of a grabbing thing or something like that. But what secondary typing do you give Trico instead? Sceptile and Inteleon. Rogue, give it the. I mean, yeah, Rogue, you have to do Greninja. So, I mean, it's going to be Sceptile and Greninja. So, for Roki. Because it's literally what it is. For the same reason you have to do Chespin for Fighter. Or Paladin, I guess. It could be either or, but. I think for Paladin, actually. Because it's more of like the noble thing. Inteleon could be fun for a Ranger. Since it's the art, it's two archers though. Paladin for Quilladin, okay. Blaziken is also a monk. Yeah, I mean the thing is that there's a lot of firefighting. Oh, I put myself back down here. My head's in front of the thing again. There we go. Yeah. Very good point. That's why it's there. Plus, its Mega looks very Paladin coded. For Warlock, Hisui and Typhlosion, that is a good. Yep, that makes sense. So, I mean, I'll just put Cyndaquil there, but we know what it is. We know. We know. I already put Charizard for Sorcerer for the Draconic Spirit. Granted, once again, if I decide to do regionals that are different than these, but these are just I just want to go off of some vibes here, you know. Bulbasaur and Sobble for Ranger. Ooh, Delphix, I like that. That's fun. Plus, that's unexpected. Yeah, we'll do that. Why the hell not? Plus, Contrary is also kind of like an the whole. It's a little unnatural. So Contrary, I think, also fits very well as a Warlock ability. I mean, you can justify any of this stuff. It's D&D. It's all true, and none of it's true. No, I know, but it's also what goes in for secondary cleric. Not cleric, druid. If not Bulbasaur. Let me think here. Gen 3. We don't have any Gen 3 representation right now. Oh, yeah, we do. We have Sceptile. Gen 4. We already have Turtwig there. Gen 5. We have some Viper. Swampert. Swampert doesn't have a place yet. But, like, what is Swampert? So is Swampert just fighter because he's good at everything? He's kind of bulky. He's kind of strong. I know, like... Monk? Oh, because he gets so burly when he grows up into a Mega? He gets so big? Well, yeah, but Delphox literally is a wizard, though. It's literally a wizard. No, you can't. What do we do for... I mean, Emboar I had as a fighter before. Let's look at our thingies here. All right. I mean, I had Emboar. We had Emboar as a fighter. Cleric? The only starter we had was Meganium. Barbarian. Didn't have any. No, I was coming to use to say. I mean, yeah. No, I know. So does a Divination Wizard. And the Evocation. And the Evocation Wizard just blows things up. Fire and Psychic together is a good combination for definitely for a Divination. Not Divination, for a Knowledge Cleric. 1000%. And not every cleric needs to be a support, but supporting in some fashion is still part of being a cleric. Even if you're being like a Tempest cleric, you're still like, you know, blessing and stuff, you know? Oh, you know what I just thought of? Weed Cat could have been Warlock. Like, I feel like kind of like a Poplio could be Cleric. I like that for Cleric. I like Poplio. I know it's really leaning into just more fairy, but I do like that. This is why I should have added them to the screen. It'd be easier to like look at them, to visualize it, and make a decision that way. But alas, I did not do that because I didn't. We've not used Bulbasaur yet. Is it just Turtwig and Bulbasaur? Like, is that boring? But like, it might be the answer. I mean, we did it here. I guess it is. So it's Bulbasaur for Druid. It has to be. Oh, I know we got Gen 9. We got Weed Cat right here. And Fuecoco. The Bards are representing Gen 9. We have a surprising diversity. There's only, like, we have... Other than Gen... I think we have at least 2 from every generation, no? Gen 1, we have all of them. Because we have a problem. Cinderace. Yeah, Cinderace could just be a fighter. Or a ranger. Is this Emboar or Cinderace? I like the burliness of Emboar, but I do like the precision of Cinderace. I guess Cinderace could also be a ranger. It's fast. It's accurate. You also have things like detect thoughts and stuff as a divination wizard. You can also change the outcome of your dice rolls. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. I'm going to put Score Bunny under... I know that it should be Inteleon, but I'm not putting Inteleon there because I don't like Inteleon. I'm putting Cinderace here because of the accuracy of them big kicks. And I'm going to put Tepig here because it's my daughter's favorite starter. She is obsessed with Tepig. Don't know where it came from. It's on one page of an alphabet Pokemon like ABC's book. And Tepig is eating a tomato berry on it. The 3 Gen 8 are missing. Oh shoot, that's right, because I didn't end up using Rillaboom. Thank you, Hero. Because Fireball. Well, that's because I had Rillaboom, but I replaced it with Weed Cat. For the Grookey gang. I hate Inteleon, though. So it doesn't get to be here. I mean, I can put Cinderace down here. It can still be a physical. A physical could be a kick wizard. Waxley Blade Singer. Ooh, Tillix. I like that. You know what? I like Grookey and Cinderace. I'm sad that I only ended up using one of them. And I'm surprised that we have all the Paldeans. Waxley is a Blade Singer. I mean, blade singing is dance fighting, right? It's dance fighting with a sword. That's a hell of a pull, Twilix. Delphix is mad. Is mad. Well, but I had already put Poplio and Cleric though. They're dance fighting. Come on, man. You know, Quaxley. You know that Quaquavel is getting at least +2 to AC for daddies. You know it's true. Wait, you want Quaxley to be the primary wizard over Fennekin? I mean, they're the same. There's no more than or less than here. This is just like, we're just here for fun. We're just here for fun. But you know is getting +2 AC. You really are on this knowledge cleric thing, man. It's literally a wizard with a wand. I understand what you're saying with knowledge cleric. And if I were to actually make some, like, this doesn't mean I'm making regionals out of these. This is just vibes of the Pokemon itself in its standard form. You know, Fennekin is one of my favorite Pokemon, one of my favorite starter Pokemon. I would love to come up with some sort of, my first instinct would be Warlock. Make it like Ghost, make it spooky. But, you know, it would also make sense for it to be a knowledge cleric. Because it still goes right into the whole wizard trying to accrue, you know, hidden knowledge and stuff like that. So it still goes into that exact same type of vibe. But like vanilla Fennekin has to be. Kill Pikachu and easy to fit the missing too. Where'd my thing go? There it is. Turn the stick into a flute. Wait. But if I get rid of Pikachu and Eevee, do they... What is it? Is it Inteleon and... Grookey? Are those the only two that are missing? Are those the only two missing? No, there's 27 starters, right? Who else are we missing? Who are we missing besides Rillaboom and Sobble? Or Grookey and Sobble? Oh, Litten. Oh, no, Litten's there. Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle. Oh, Torchic. I don't know Torchic. So I don't have Torchic, I don't have Grookey, and I don't have Sobble. At least it's one of each type, right? We're missing one water, one fire, and one grass. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I want to hang out with you guys. Talk about more of this stuff. It looks like Sobble's camouflage worked perfectly. I mean, Sobble is what it. Sobble is, and you know, cunning action hide. Got that big old sneak attack snipe shot. Did the big old damage. But this frog is cooler. This frog. I prefer the frog. I prefer the frog. I don't like... I shouldn't say that. Sobble is fine. Sobble is fine. I don't like Drizzle. I don't like Inteleon. I don't like Inteleon. It bothers me. Well, a Whisper Bard would... A Whisper Bard uses Psychic Blades, doesn't it? Or Psychic Mind Spike. What? It's not called Mind Spike. It's called something. Psychic... It's Psychic something. So, you know, like, a Whisper Bard is using mind control. Or mind control adjacent. Not shooting people. I mean, you could say like a Valor Bard or a ranged swords bard could be Inteleon, but that would also be like Inteleon could also be a Gloomstalker. Inteleon could also be an assassin rogue. You know, Inteleon is when you play Baldur's Gate 3 and you min-max your hand crossbow build. That's what you get when you are Inteleon. So you take like you take 6 levels in Bard, so that way you get the short rest reset on your thingies. You take 3 levels in Gloomstalker Ranger, so that way you get the extra initiative, and you get that big boy smack at the beginning of the game. So what does that take us to level 9? So 10, 11, you're going to take 2 levels in Fighter, so you can get Action Surge. And then you take 1 level... Either 1 level in Rogue, or you just take 1 more level in Bard. I mean, I think Inteleon's proper place is either a Gloomstalker Ranger because of the camouflage aspect, or a Rogue because of the camouflage aspect. Oh no, but all these are not regionals. This is just, I felt like killing 20 minutes with you guys before I went to bed. I got work early tomorrow morning. So I just felt like killing another half hour, you know. I just felt like hanging out a little bit longer. These are not for regionals. That I have to think more on how I want to do that. My little bean's talking in her sleep. She always talks in her sleep. But I'm gonna go get ready for bed. It was awesome hanging out with all you again tonight. I really appreciate it. Hanging out and helping me brainstorm this stuff, just messing around. I have a couple more games that I need to binge to get my first couple months of next year ready to roll as far as videos go. Then I'm going to start figuring out how to make them a game as I keep on brainstorming this shit. Yeah, man. That's probably the next step, Delphix. The next step is either, because this is more of just a fun exercise more than anything else. So I think the next step would be is picking a subclass for each class that I would like to base either a regional or a Fakemon off of. Obviously, I have a whole bunch of Fakemon already. So whether it's one of the existing ones or something new or a regional, more likely a regional or something that we already have. But what would be like not necessarily the definitive subclass for that class, but what would be like a cool thing to make? So like, for example, like I was saying earlier, you think Evocation Wizard because wizards blow things up. But then, like I had said, like, what about Divination Charizard? You know, like that could be fun. You know, you would automatically assume Battlemaster Fighter, but guess what? This time you were right. Battlemaster Fighter probably does make the most sense. You know, it doesn't have to be a life cleric. It could be a light cleric. It could be a nature cleric. It could be a tempest cleric. You know, like it's, we figure this stuff out. Barbarian doesn't have to be a berserker. It could be a tempest barbarian. It could be a totem barbarian. Totem might be fun. You know, is it artillerist? Is it, well, really it's artillerist, alchemist, or armorer. Sorry, Battlesmith. Never Trickery Shadowheart. If you want to do trickery in real D&D, that can be fun. Trickery in Baldur's Gate is not a good. Yeah, no problem, Telix. But all right, guys and gals, I will catch you all on the flip-flop. I will talk to everybody later on. He did? I feel like I clearly did not capitalize on any of this in the way that I should have, because I'm bad at internet. You know, Pokedex Fillers has asked to use a handful of the designs for some of his shorts, and I fumbled this so hard. but I wanna still make it work the best that I can. So I'm hoping that we can hang out and make some fun stuff together. But all right, I will catch you all later. Thanks for hanging out with me. Yeah, man, no problem, Phil. I don't think I'll be on tomorrow, but I'll be back definitely definitely Thursday and Friday. But I'll see you guys all, guys, gals, and everybody else later on.